Hi, everybody. I just wanted to welcome you to 2024 with the first market update and an explanation of where we're going to head with these market updates. So historically in the past, I've gone quite into detail as far as what I predict is going to happen. I'm going to stop doing that and just give you the numbers that I use to determine those features and have you assimilate that data for your own belief and understanding. But I'll give you a good picture so that you can form your own opinions. And by all means, if you want to comment on the videos on YouTube, by all means, go ahead and maybe we'll get a dialogue going of some differing opinions, and then people can, be a little bit more educated on it all. So I won't be telling you where the market is going to go, but I will give you some of the data that we have access to as realtors that hopefully will enlighten you and give you a better perspective on where things might head or the probability / direction that things might go. So I will also be giving you in these videos a little bit of a on the ground kind of look at what's actually happening in the market. For example, right now, we're not seeing very much activity in the high end of properties. We're not seeing very much in the low end of properties either, but what we are seeing a lot of activity in is the townhouse market, typically around the 900 to $1,000,001 type price point. There seems to be a tremendous amount of activity in that market to the point where we're even seeing multiple offers. There was recently one that went to multiple offers just a few days ago as a direct result of it being a property with a suite. Now, the one thing you want to take into account when you're looking at some of these sales is, was there a suite incorporated in the property? In this case, there was, which is going to have people want to purchase that property, which gives us a bit of an indication that people are a bit strapped for cash. And so buying a property with a suite is saying to us that people can't afford to get the mortgages that they require in order to purchase properties. And as a result, they're having to buy properties with suites, even though there's not many people that absolutely love having suites in their homes. So that's kind of the way we look at it from that perspective. So now going into the numbers and where we're going to look at for the numbers, one of the first things we want to look at is the volume of properties that are on the market and the number of sales that are happening. Now you can look at them independently. As you can see, I've got a 5-year chart up here. I'm going to move this icon so you can see that a little bit better. So you can see the new listings coming onto the market are declining, but that's typical over the winter. But if you really look, there's a general trend downward here. And then the same thing with the sales. Even though sales are trending down, they seem to be trending down at a more rapid rate than listings. So when people talk about how many properties are on the market, that's all fine and well. And people talk about sales are active, that's all fine and well. But then you get into this sales to active ratio. And that's really a more key component that we can look at to determine what's happening. This is how many sales relative to the number of properties that are actively listed on the market is occurring. So if the number of sales is higher and the number of actives is lower, then you're going to get this ratio being substantially higher. So when that happens, if the number of sales is high and the number of actives is low, price is going to start increasing. So as you see here back in 2020 and running through to 2022, prices would be increasing because the number of sales that were occurring was greater and the number of actives was going down. So that was driving prices up. And now you can see currently we're in this most current trend, which is the number of sales is declining, but the number of active properties relative to that is actually coming up and pushing that ratio down, indicating we're in a downward trending market as far as price goes. Again, this does not mean that that's the direction it's going to go for sure, but that is the direction the general market is currently in. So keep that in mind when you're looking at things as well. One of the numbers that I found to be the most sort of forward-looking number is the percentage of the original asking price. And as you can imagine how this plays out, if people are asking a high price for their property and the buyers are not willing to pay that, then there's going to be a bigger gap. Now here in 2020 and 2021 up to 2022, we ended up getting above 100%. Every single time that the market has gotten above 100%, there has been a subsequent decline in the market. So it gets to a point where people are in bidding wars, overpaying for properties, and ultimately the buyers step back and say, hang on a second, this is too much. And they back off, they take their foot off the gas, and prices tend to fall. So that happened in December 2021, prices did fall, and then they increased back up again. And now we're into a declining market again. But looking at that percentage of original price, you can see how it gradually creeps up. And then you see it fell, it creeped up, and now it's creeping down again. So people are taking offers that are below the asking price or their listing price, indicating that, again, the market is getting a little bit softer and the general trend is in a downward momentum. So keep that in mind when we're looking at things. Those are really the key factors that you want to consider when you're trying to figure out what's happening in the market. So as you can see from an inventory, from a percentage of price, from a sales to active ratio, the probability is that prices will decline. And then we bring in the economic conditions. And that's where things can get a little bit dicey because we really have no idea what the government is going to do. Now, when you look at the economic conditions, you want to consider interest rates, you want to consider immigration, and you want to consider the number of mortgage renewals that's occurring. Now, over the next 2 years, there's going to be a high percentage of mortgage renewals, and those renewals are going to be coming at, again, we look at the interest rate, a much higher interest rate than what they were at before. So as a result, there's going to be a lot of buying power getting eroded there. And in some cases, people might be forced to sell their properties on account that they cannot afford their mortgage. As that happens, more property comes on the market, more inventory. As it does, it drives down the sales to active ratio, and you could see there being a little bit of downward price pressure on the market. Immigration, they have indicated that they're actually going to consider slowing immigration. Whether or not that's possible, I don't know, because it takes a long time for them to slow that boat down, and I don't see it happening anytime soon, but that's my opinion. Certainly, you can go on the government website and they'll indicate what their immigration targets are. But if we continue to grow at the same rate that they're growing at right now, with our GDP not growing quickly enough, it's going to create an economic problem that we don't want to deal with. But that's something to sort of go into more detail, maybe on another video. I can go into it and explain how the immigration, how the GDP numbers work, and why we technically have not entered into a recession, even though GDP per capita has actually gone negative. Our GDP has gone up because of our immigration policies, but the GDP per capita has not. In fact, that has declined. So that's just kind of some other information that you want to consider when you're looking at it. I do want to start looking at comparing Squamish to areas on the other side of Squamish, including like a Langley area type of thing, because the rental rates, some of you know, Chloe has moved down to Langley and we had to pick up a rental for her, and a really, really nice 2-bedroom rental is $2,000 a month down there. That's including hydro and everything. So you can't get that up in Squamish. So I'm really interested to track how that might affect the Squamish market. Do people at some point just go, you know what, Squamish is amazing, it has so much, but maybe we could move a little bit further the other way. We have to deal with traffic, but heck, for $600-700 a month, it might be worth it. So that's the other sort of intangible I kind of want to track and get an idea of what's going on. So that's where we're at. The probability is the market's going to decline in price. Does this happen? I think it really depends on what the government does with their interest rates. There's speculation they might decrease them. If they do, the likelihood is they'll increase them again. There's just going to be too much inflation if they decrease the interest rates. But that's where I'm sitting. That's what I see. That's what I'm seeing on the ground. Properties are what they are. Squamish is still a bustling market, and the activity is going to be really high in the spring, and that will determine the direction we head. So I will keep you posted as things come up. I will do another video shortly about the seasonality of the market and explain to you why what happens in the spring could dictate where we head. Hope that works out well for you. Wish you all the best in 2024, and I'll look forward to staying more in touch. Videos will be coming out probably weekly and at the very least bi-weekly. So hopefully that's sufficient information for you. And you can always log onto the YouTube channel, which I will put in the link in the description below. And then you can log into the YouTube whenever you want to get any information about real estate, whether it's market conditions or how to write a great offer. Those sorts of things are going to also be included on the video channel. All right. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a fantastic day and a great start to 2024. Bye for now.